The film begins with a home video recording. The camera is handled by Hudson, a laid-back and somewhat clumsy young man, who is tasked with documenting a surprise party for Robert, Jason's brother, who is about to move to Japan for a new career opportunity. The party takes place in an apartment in New York, and the initial recording captures relaxed moments among friends, with heartfelt messages being left for Robert as a memento of his departure. Jason and Lily, a young couple and the party organizers, are the first to leave their messages. Meanwhile, Hudson takes the opportunity to discreetly flirt with Marlena, a girl he seems to like. Marlena, however, shows discomfort with the situation and tries to avoid being filmed, claiming she is not close enough to Robert to leave a message. Despite her reluctance, Hudson insists, and Marlena eventually gives in, leaving a farewell message but soon distancing herself to avoid further interaction with the guy. Robert finally arrives at the party and is surprised by the tribute and the greetings from everyone. He thanks everyone in a brief speech and even leaves a message on Hudson's recordings, as friends have fun and some quickly become drunkenly sleepy. Robert's attention quickly turns to Beth, a close friend for whom he clearly has deeper feelings. The tension rises when Beth shows up at the party with a friend named Travis, which visibly upsets Robert, but he kindly welcomes the guests. Hudson, always observant, notices the strange dynamic between the two and tries to find out what is happening by talking to both of them. He comments to Jason about Robert and Beth's odd behavior, but Jason downplays the situation, suggesting there's nothing wrong. In a private moment, Robert confronts Beth about her bringing a companion, while Beth retorts, accusing Robert of ignoring her for the past few weeks. The argument is interrupted when Hudson, trying to capture the moment on video, is discovered by Robert. The situation is awkward, but Lily intervenes and takes Robert back to the party. Hudson then alerts Jason that Lily knows something, and they confront her in the kitchen. She asks not to record and then reveals that the young couple had a romance a few weeks ago, but she didn't tell anyone to avoid spreading gossip. However, a few minutes later, we see Hudson spilling the gossip to everyone at the party. As the emotional conflicts unfold, Beth decides to leave, and Robert isolates himself in a room. His brother and friend go to him and eventually discover that Robert left the young woman after their romance because he would be leaving and staying away, so he preferred to distance himself from her, which left her hurt. However, his friends urge him to go after her and apologize, trying to rekindle the relationship because she is an amazing young woman. Suddenly, a catastrophic event interrupts the party. A violent tremor shakes the city, followed by a series of explosions and blackouts. The news on TV reports an earthquake and the wreck of an oil tanker in New York Harbor, near the Statue of Liberty. However, it soon becomes clear that something much larger and more sinister is happening. Hudson and some friends decide to go up to the roof of the building to investigate, and what they see is terrifying. A series of explosions light up the sky, and a huge creature begins to destroy the city. Terrified, everyone descends the building and witnesses the chaos in the city. In a tense moment, the head of the Statue of Liberty is torn off and hurled into the street, leaving everyone in shock at seeing that. As buildings are being destroyed and dust fills the streets, the young people take refuge inside an establishment. The creature, a colossal monstrosity of unknown origin, advances through the city, destroying everything in its path. After a few minutes, they all go outside and admire, in disbelief, the vast destruction left by the creature that passed through. The group, consisting of Robert, Lily, Hudson, Marlena, and Jason, along with hundreds of others, tries to flee the chaos and heads to the city's exit, following the police instructions. While crossing the Brooklyn Bridge, in an attempt to escape the city, the creature attacks again. A gigantic tentacle emerges from the water and destroys the bridge, killing Jason in the process. The scene is chaotic and sorrowful, with Lily screaming desperately for her boyfriend, while Robert and the others try to escape the destroyed bridge to survive. The following scenes are filled with screams and despair in the streets as the friends cannot believe what happened to Jason. Jason's loss is a devastating blow to the group, especially for Lily, who is in shock. On the televisions, the news shows footage from helicopters that filmed part of the immense creature, and with such a threat, the army has been mobilized. Their journey through the devastated city is filled with dangers, including the presence of small parasitic creatures that fall from the main creature's body and attack anyone in their path. These smaller creatures are as terrifying as the main creature, with quick and aggressive movements. Back with the young people, Robert receives a voicemail from Beth, who is hurt and trapped in her apartment. Determined to save her, Robert decides to return to the city despite his friend's protests. Loyal and brave, Lily decides to accompany him, and Hudson and Marlena, even reluctantly, follow the two. On the way, they encounter the army fighting the giant monster, using missiles and even cannons. In an attempt to avoid the creature, the group descends into the subway, where they wait for a moment until the bombing above stops. After waiting, they decide to proceed through the tunnel, where they face new horrors ahead. Using the night vision on the camera, Hudson captures chilling images of the spider-like parasitic creatures moving in the shadows. In a moment of maximum tension, the group runs but ends up being attacked. Marlena, trying to help Hudson, is attacked by one of the creatures and seriously injured. Fortunately, the group of young people manages to take refuge in a maintenance room, escaping from the beasts. The group helps Marlena by covering her wounds, and seeing that she is apparently okay, they decide to venture out and search for a new exit. They reach 59th Street and exit into a shopping mall. They are soon found by a group of soldiers who take them to a medical area. However, the soldiers will evacuate the area in 15 minutes. But Robert speaks about his friend trapped in the rubble and insists on going to find her. And to prevent him, the soldiers will have to kill him. At that moment, Marlena's condition rapidly worsens. She starts bleeding from her nose and eyes, a sign that something terrible is happening to her body. The soldiers quickly take her to quarantine, where it isn't long before she explodes horrifically. Marlena's death is shocking and a brutal and unforgettable reminder of the dangers they face. Despite the tragedy, Robert is determined to rescue Beth. With the help of a soldier, the group manages to leave the site, advised to hurry, as the government plans to initiate the area's destruction protocol, and they have until 6 in the morning to reach the evacuation site. The young people stop along the way to reflect on what happened to Marlena, realizing that everything started after the bite. The now 3-person group arrives at Beth's building, which is partially destroyed and leaning against another building. Hudson has the idea to climb the intact building next door. They boldly depart, climb the stairs of the building, and finding the connection between the buildings, they cross over to Beth's apartment, despite fearing a possible collapse. The young people soon find their friend severely injured and trapped under the rubble. The rescue scene is tense and emotional, with Robert showing profound love and dedication to Beth. They manage to free her, but they cannot wait long there and need to descend, as danger is close by, being fought off by the army. Descending the stairs, they encounter one of the small creatures, but Robert quickly kills it with an emergency axe. As they try to reach the evacuation point, the group witnesses a battle between the giant creature and the military forces. The creature appears nearly invincible, resisting airstrikes and bombardments. The group arrives at the marked point and soon tries to board a military aircraft, but there is only room for one, and Lily ends up going alone. Fortunately, another helicopter arrives and takes the young people. Hudson, always with the camera in hand, captures impressive footage of the creature in all its magnitude and records as it is bombarded with many bombs. However, the fate of the group is tragic. The creature emerges from the dense dust, and the helicopter they are in is struck by it, crashing into Central Park. The army communicates via radio that the destruction protocol will commence in 15 minutes. Robert, Beth, and Hudson survive the impact and exit the downed aircraft, but the creature catches up with them. In a moment of absolute terror, Hudson is left on the terrifying beast and is unfortunately devoured by it, and the camera falls to the ground, capturing his last moments. Beth grabs her dead friend's camera and runs away with Robert. They both take refuge under a small bridge, where they share a moment of vulnerability and connection. Robert records a final message, documenting his terrifying experience and declaring his love for Beth. The film ends with a massive explosion, suggesting that the airstrike finally hit the creature, but also sealing the fate of the couple.